After almost a 10-year delay, a new terminal is being constructed at Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. And this new terminal puts the emphasis on international, as it will finally offer the space the airport needs to fully service international flights. Joining us for an update is Mitchell Airport's Director, Brian Dranzik. Thanks so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
What happened? Why did it take 10 years to go from the idea of this new terminal being built to construction actually now being in
Sure. Well, in the beginning, it just takes time to develop the cost and understand all the things that go into it, the design and all the infrastructure planning and things like that. And so it took some years to get to that point, do the feasibility studies, so on. And then right as we got basically through our design phase, COVID happened. And so we were anticipating going into construction in 2020, and we would have been done with the facility in 2022. But we had to put that on halt just because of all of the uncertainty of things going on. And then when we came out of COVID, the price of the project went up substantially due to inflation and factors of that nature. So it took some time for us to then, refinance the project. Thankfully, there were some federal grants that came online that we were able to take advantage of that defrayed a substantial amount of that cost. And the good news is here we are today under construction.
When you talk about substantial cost, it was really significant.
Yeah.
Initial estimate, $55 million, $95 million now.
Right. So, that was just the realities coming out of COVID. And it's not unique to the airport. It's something that's been seen, across construction and pricing and things like that. So it's just something we had to, obviously adjust to. So, yeah, it was a big change. And it required us to do some retooling.
How are you paying for the construction of this new terminal?
The construction is being financed through airport financing. All of the funds basically come from the airport, so we're a self-sufficient financial entity of the county. So the funding sources are our local funds that we derive from the airport. Those are things that come from our concessions, like parking and retail concessions and food and beverage and things like that. And then there's also passenger facility charges, which are a fee that every passenger pays at every airport for flying through that airport. So we collect those fees. We're going to do some bonding for the project, so some outside financing, long-term financing on the project. And like I said, the grants, which have been helpful to the degree that they've been able to defray a lot of that long-term bonding cost.
Let's talk a little bit about the terminal itself. It is replacing the old E-concourse.
Right.
What are people going to see with this new terminal?
A modern facility, which will be nice. So it not only replaces the E-concourse, but it replaces the International Arrivals building, which is a separate building disconnected from the main terminal. So that gives some challenges for the passengers that are arriving in. What happens today is people will depart from a terminal like the C or D concourse, but then when they arrive back in Milwaukee, they're in a separate building. So a lot of our travel for international right now is vacation travel around this time of year. When it's cold, when it's snowing, they come back in. They're perhaps not as familiar with the airport. They may be coming from different places throughout the state. They arrive in Milwaukee in their shorts and their flip-flops, and it's just not a good thing. So what people will experience is that'll all be combined in one facility, a 2-gate facility that can accommodate 2 aircraft. It'll have the grade separation, so you'll arrive and deplane and go to the lower floor for customs processing, and then departing off of the second floor. So it can be used as international and domestic.
What kind of impact does it have where you're going to be able to have this additional capacity, both for domestic and for international flights? Because you'll be able to serve a lot more people, particularly for international flights, than you were at, or than you are still at, the little box building that's away from everything else.
Right. So it's going to give us a lot more capacity to not only probably enhance our footprint for things like the international travel that we have today for vacation destinations and things like that, warm weather destinations, but gives us the opportunity to really look at international travel to places like Europe and be more competitive with our peer cities that we are often competing for service for, and some of those cities have had adds to places like London or Paris or Amsterdam or things like that, and it puts us now in a place where operationally we can handle that type of an operation with a carrier, and hopefully, and we certainly have the numbers. I mean, when we look at the numbers of people traveling from the Milwaukee area, southeast Wisconsin, we know we've got enough traffic. We just have some different competitive challenges like being close to Chicago and things like that, and of course our facilities. So having those things all improved will put us in a better competitive place.
When do you think you'll have an idea as to how attractive Milwaukee will be potentially to international flights that originate here? Because we love our friends in Illinois, but it's just not nearly as easy to travel to O'Hare, or in some cases Midway, to fly overseas as it would be to leave from Mitchell.
Yeah, and that's really what we love for people within the community to take advantage of. We always try to compel people to take their hometown airport, use Mitchell. That's how we get more flights and more service. But we also do our own analysis to know what we call leakage looks like down to O'Hare. And of course, on international, we know that's significant. So, with this, what we're doing is we're going back and having conversations with the airline partners that we have and others that we don't have today to talk to them about the facilities that we're doing, the development projects that we have, what the capabilities will be, and trying to put some information and some package together that will be attractive to a carrier to potentially fly to Milwaukee.
There are some interesting things, too, that this new concourse is going to have that are really eco-friendly. Tell us a little bit about a couple of those features.
Sure. So, the whole project now compared to the facility that we're taking down and replacing was built in 1969. So a lot of technological advances, of course, have happened since then. And, it's some things that you may not see, but things that are significant, like the heating and cooling systems are energy efficient. LED lighting, which lowers the cost of that. There's fins on the architecturally. There's fins on the glass that will help block some of the sunlight, so it doesn't have a lot of solar intensity and things like that. So there's things that have been designed into the project that create some of those energy efficiencies.
I feel like we need to knock on wood for us for target date for everything being ready to go.
Things are going well so far. The construction has started. The demolition is starting. So that happened in September, and we're on schedule to have the project completed around the fall of 2027, just in time for the international season to begin in 2027.
Couldn't have you here and be this close to the holidays and not ask you what your number one tip is for people who are going to be flying out in the weeks to come from Mitchell. What's the one thing that people need to know or do?
It's the time of year to kind of plan ahead a little bit, pack a little patience with you coming to the airport. We like to remind people arrive a little bit early and just de-stress that situation. There's things you can do that help that out, like look at our park app, our airport parking app. That can save you some time. It'll reserve a spot for you. You have that guaranteed. You can get to the airport, like I said, just a little bit early. Go to a restaurant, have a cup of coffee, have something to eat or drink, and just have some time to relax and enjoy your flight.
All right, good advice from the expert. Brian, thanks so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it, and all the best on the expansion.
Thank you.
We are going to be back in just 1 minute.